Welcome to Tough Crowd. You know, the Supreme Court is making some big decisions this week. I thought that's what they're supposed to do every week, but apparently, I don't know. Everyone's like, oh, they're making big decisions. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. But, do we even need a Supreme Court? You know, it's like, everyone's always like, every vote counts, a nation of millions. Every vote is important. But for the big decisions, how many people do you need? 9. How about they change qualifications to make people more in touch? I don't even know what you have to do to be on the Supreme Court. Here's the new qualifications they should have. If you wanted to represent America, you should have had to use a fake voice on the phone with a credit card company at least once. You should have had to drive a car with a different colored door than the rest of the car. Been yelled at somebody at work while you were an adult by somebody younger than you. You should have been unable to afford a gift, so you'd have to see that look in your kid's eye like, you can't afford that? I'm not gonna throw names in your face, but there's a lot of my friends' parents are making serious money out there. I know the economy is not good, but we're not talking about a Hawaiian vacation. We're talking about a couple of PlayStations, a nice pair of sneakers to keep you in the loop at school, you know? Yeah! Oh, yeah! Okay, look. The latest Supreme Court session is almost over. Several major cases were decided yesterday. Tonight, the panel will act as members of the Supreme Court. We're going to hear their opinion on each case. First case up for discussion is porn in the libraries. Is access to porn in the libraries a free speech issue? Nick.
Yes, it is a free speech issue, but no, I don't want it in public libraries because I don't want the Dewey Decimal System changed to the GUI Decimal System.
All right. Jim.
I agree. I don't think it belongs in libraries. What's next? Instead of a library card, you show up with a roll of quarters so you can enjoy the glory hole in the reference section?
Oh. Try to stand less feminine when you do that. Greg.
I think we absolutely have a constitutional right to porn in libraries, as long as you can masturbate quietly.
All right. George.
Well, if you ever took a look at a librarian, you can see why you might need a little pornography in the library.
All right, let's get to it, George. All right.
Here's where it all happens.
The only thing I don't like is when people try to make it a free speech issue like, hey, man, then there's books get banned. Like, there's no difference between Henry Miller and, like, the upskirt bathroom hidden cam, you know? Can we draw a line somewhere around? Even the family won't give me that one. All right.
I got something for you.
I can't, okay.
You know why I don't like to watch a porno movie? I mean, a lot of guys like that, and we're on the subject of porno. You can go a little bit afield, can't you?
Of course.
Yeah.
Look who's sitting next to you.
Oh, yeah.
He's the king.
I don't like a porno movie because you start to watch a porno movie and there's a great-looking woman on, and she's got everything's big and built and beautiful, and she kind of becomes your girlfriend for a minute, you know, and then a guy with a big schlong walks in and your girlfriend. I didn't mean to say that. It's in the spirit.
An empty kind of thing, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, the only Irish guys make porno into a loss. A meditation on loss somehow.
I was going to say, that doesn't bother me because it happens in real life, you know?
The problem with making this a freedom of speech issue is, like, whenever they try to put porn somewhere it doesn't belong, they inadvertently strengthen the case against porn. It's like in a library, what if some innocent patron should just walk by and glance at a monitor and look and see a morbidly obese woman using a little Asian man as a toilet?
Hey,
is he really an Asian man?
Greg, everyone wants to protect kids. Obviously, I don't think anyone wants shots to pop up on a 6th grader screen while he's doing his homework. I mean, almost everybody. But the problem with these filters is that they don't work. They block out too many things. That's why it's a free speech issue. It blocks out a lot of stuff. Like, you know, if you want to block out, for example, the kind of porn that Norton loves, you're also going to block people trying to do legitimate research on, like, bladder infections and,
But there's too much attention to kids in this country. There's too much protection for kids. There's too much safety for kids. They got. Yeah, I mean, really, when you're thinking about it, they got these things you can't open because a kid might get it. You got fireproof pajamas and these helmets. They got a helmet. Kids have to have a helmet for everything but masturbation. I don't think kids deserve all that. So let them grow up. Let them grow up.
All right. Next case, should Holocaust survivors receive payment on insurance policies that European companies have long denied them? The court said no. Agree or disagree?
They should have to pay.
Yeah.
Anytime you can stick it in an insurance company's ass, do it, is what I say. I mean, only people who work for the insurance company have the balls to look at a Jewish person and go, you know the dental work Dr. Mengele did on your grandfather? We don't cover 50% of that.
No. Although they don't cover it because Judy is a pre-existing condition. Next case, a California man was charged with molesting his daughter almost 50 years ago. It's not an anniversary, don't applaud. But the Supreme Court ruled today that the government cannot erase statute of limitation on old sex crimes. Agree or disagree?
Well, first of all, if it happened 50 years ago and she can remember it, it couldn't have been all bad.
The master.
Should be able to do though. Go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I was just
Who
saying,
knows more about, you know, rape? Go ahead.
Well, there has to be a certain statute of limitations. Like, I don't think it should count anymore if the pedophile had to spend less than 10 cents on candy to get you into his Ford Edsel.
Yeah. All right. Next case. Today, the courts agreed to overturn a death row inmate sentence due to his lawyer's inexperience. Anybody agree, disagree?
This was ridiculous, this case. I mean, first of all, you know, I hate when these guys complain about their bad lawyer. You know what this guy was actually complaining about? He said this guy killed an old lady, and he said that his lawyers were terrible because they tried to prove him innocent instead of really focusing on his bad childhood, which is like, you know, of course you had a bad childhood. Who else drowns old ladies in a tub? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, you know, there's a bad lawyer, Scott Peterson's lawyer. He's given that hack devil worship defense from the 80s. Why don't you just say it's sexual asphyxiation? You know, if you're going to be in today's society, you got to give him like the jackass prank, something hip, terrorist, some defense like that. Nothing still. Well, they're all related to me. It's fascinating. But look, go ahead.
I think that the problem was, again, you're trying to blame the childhood. He's saying that's exactly what you said, that the lawyers didn't raise the fact that, you know, he's actually partially retarded, his mother was an alcoholic, and he was repeatedly raped. And it's like, come on, man, you and everyone else from New Jersey. That's not a legitimate argument.
Yeah. There's too much attention to kids anyway, like I say, you know? No, if there was a little more molestation of any age, the country wouldn't be the way it is today. We'd be better off. It's just a theory.
Well, next case, the Supreme Court struck down a Texas ban on gay sex today, ruling it was unconstitutional violation of privacy. Anybody agree, disagree?
It's absolutely a great move. I mean, it's nobody's business what two grown men do in the privacy of their own rectory.
I mean, this thing is absurd that it was even considered. They're going to make homosexuality illegal. You know,
no, they're making it legal.
They made it legal today,
yeah.
But there were states that tried to make it illegal. I mean, you're going to put all gays in jail? Who's going to cut our hair?
Me and you.
And I got a little admission to make, a kind of a confession. Did you ever notice, like, when you're on a horse, there's kind of a... No, I'm only kidding. I never. One time I gave a reindeer a hand job. You know? It was Christmas.
Yeah, God.
We're both a little drunk. I met him on the roof. What do you want? Yeah.
See that? I'm sure the Supreme Court appreciates all the work we've done for them. We'll be right back after this commercial. Now we're gonna go freestyle. Hey, rappers go freestyle, why can't we? No good reason. Look, the Washington Times reported Maryland lawmaker who wants to ban realistic looking toy guns and fine the parents whose kids are caught playing with them. Now, I agree with that because I think it should be a 10-day waiting period on super soakers. Now look, I know we both... But let me ask you, George, what do you think about this?
You should only be allowed to use a toy gun if you're holding up a toy store. That's it. And the cops should be able to beat the crap out of you with a toy billy club, then it's even.
I actually disagree.
You're idle? You disagree?
Voice of dissent.
No, with him. The problem was that the kid, a 7-year-old boy, robbed a Hollywood video store. He took the orange cap off a toy gun. The key is here, he fooled 2 adults with a toy gun. So instead of making toy guns illegal, how about you make it against the law to hire retarded people to work in video stores?
Good. Yeah.
You know what? It's
what are you going to do at night? Go ahead.
But you know, I don't think you don't have to ban the guns. You just have to, make it a crime to use them in a crime. Punish people for it like a real gun. Maybe it's not as bad as a real gun, but it's still a weapon. It's still dangerous. So, like, let's say if you hold up a liquor store or something and you go to jail for using a fake gun, maybe you get a slightly lesser penalty, like you get raped with a fake penis.
My favorite part was, what are you going to do at night? Go ahead. No, but these guns, they look like 9mm, like real 9mm guns.
The only time a toy gun is a problem is when you point it at a cop. I mean, you point it at a nurse, a short order cook, nothing happens. Yeah. If you're a kid and you're young enough to be pointing a gun at a cop in a dark alley, then it's your parents who have screwed up, and somebody should have pointed a real gun at them.
Yeah. There's too much attention to children anyway. Too much. We got too many of them. And they're all named Jason. God. Oh.
All right, ready? Airlines will begin collecting a $10 fee on tickets to fund post-9/11 airport security. The executives say the government should pay, but now we're paying. What do you guys think of that? $10.
Disgraceful.
Well,
we're paying now for security. They're going to start charging for in-flight food. What are they going to do next? Pull over the plane? We can all chip in for gas?
Well, you're really upset. It's $10. I mean, it's $10 for $10 for security. You know what's $10? It's like a half a Jack and Coke at the airport bar. I mean, I'll pay the $10 for security, but if the plane gets hijacked, I want the money back.
Yeah. The airlines can afford it, can't they? They're crying that the business is down. Every flight I take, I get 3 kids sitting on my lap, 2 on my shoulders.
Jason.
Yeah.
And the executives give themselves these big bonuses, lay people off. And then, you know, you go on these flights, supposed to be an armed U.S. Marshal. I was on a Southwest flight. This is going to sound like a joke. I was on a Southwest flight. Yeah, me too. I was on a Southwest flight, and it's supposed to be an armed U.S. Marshal. It's a guy whose cousin was a green belt in karate. Showed him a couple of moves before he got on. All right, let's move on. Bounty hunter like Dog Chapman. You know this guy that captured that weird, creepy makeup guy that they said raped all the girls, you know?
Yes.
Take a look at this picture, all right? This is like the classic, you know, the Fu Manchu. He's got the gun hidden in the acid wash jeans. You know, he's got the Georgia satellites blasting out of the muscle car. What do you think?
That's the guy I'd call if my daughter was raped by a crocodile.
What do you think? Bounty hunters, they have no rules. They do whatever they want.
I don't like them anymore, and I like policemen anymore, and I like prosecutors. I got reasons, believe me. They all overstep the law and the name of the law, and it's garbage. They ought to all be disciplined severely every afternoon, 2:30, something like that.
I hate to disagree, but who are we trying to protect with these bounty hunter laws? I mean, you know, first of all, you're not supposed to be out on bail in the first place. And if you are on bail, you shouldn't jump bail. And if you do, and some alcoholic ex-cop puts you in a chokehold, so what?
Yeah. He's actually an ex-cop. He was a murderer. He was in jail for murder.
Well, I was just going to say, he actually, he got Andrew Luster. He was a violent attack at a Mexican taco stand. If he'd waited 10 more minutes, he could have arrested him peacefully on a toilet.
It's true.
All right, look. LA is considering an ordinance that would ban lap dancing or touching in strip clubs. Now, in New York, they don't have this. This is what everybody tells me. But they should outlaw it because anytime I get one of those dances in LA, I always buy for my friends because, as you know, Mike Reynolds, people like that, they never have a dime. For some reason, I have friends that are always broke. And they always get the one that can whack them off through denim, and I get the mother of 2 that I feel guilty. I don't want to touch her. Jim, what do you think about this?
I got mixed emotions. I mean, if they ban it,
I got to make it into a melodramatic, Harlequin romance.
The bad news is, if they ban this, I'll never get a hot chick on my lap without an 8-ball again. The good news is, I'll save about $1,500 a year in dry cleaning.
When we come back, George and I are going to play a little one-on-one. Like I say, the U.S. Conference of Bishops wrapped up their annual meeting on Saturday. Cardinal Mahoney said, quote, "We need to make the church safe again." So the bishops have set up a committee to work on ways to make the church a safer place.
All right, Father Quinn, let me get this thing straight now. The goal we're after here is to rid the church of all suspicious activity. Is that true?
Right.
Okay.
I see plenty of likely candidates.
Oh. Maybe if we tossed out all the suspicious priests who are giving unorthodox sermons, you know. Like Father Amon in Ohio, I don't know if you heard about him. He actually gave a 6 o'clock mass comparing the Sermon on the Mount with Isaac Mizrahi's speech at the VH1 Awards.
Oh, Jesus. That's something to look for, yes.
Yeah.
Isn't he the one who also had the people lining up for communion while he made the church organist play If They Could See Me Now?
That wasn't bad, though, I must say. But it's the same guy. Now, Father McNamara, another one. Yeah, another one. They all get the Irish names, you know. Father McNamara, Connecticut, had to be curtailed on several practices that I think are suspect. First of all, I say no more church outings to Miracles on Ice. That's all. And secondly, no more church picnics in the rest area off of I-95. And somebody's got to tell him you don't light a candle for the new Justin Timberlake album.
That's the same fellow that misrepresented the parables, is he not?
Oh, yeah, that's right. He did indeed. Jesus did not have any parables where the prodigal son stayed away from home and only came back for weddings and funerals, usually in the company of a striking young Philistine.
There's a fellow here in Massachusetts, Father Dunleavy, who's going to be a problem. Cardinal Law cannot keep his respect if he's known as the old queen that signs my paycheck.
Well, that's a red flag. That's a red flag right there. And I don't think you can reveal envy for Jesus because he was shredded and you can't get rid of the love handles.
No. No, you can't. Now you've got a smoking gun right here. What about the bishop? When the bishop comes out dressed in his red robes, you don't yell, "Oh, she's got to be kidding at her age."
Talk about your smoking guns. That would be one indeed. I'll tell you who I'd keep an eye on.
Who would that be, sir?
This fella just outside of Chicago, Father Cahill. There you go, another Irishman. He summed up, he was on a retreat with the Benedictine monks. He summed it up this way. He says, too much Benedictine, not enough monk.
Is that the same one that ordered the stained glass window of the guy from the Bowflex commercial?
No. Yeah.
All right.
Hi, guys. Just figured I'd come in and be an altar boy.
Okay, how you doing? Hey.
Hi.
He's a big fan of yours, too.
He was on the show.
Yeah, he was on the show. He's a fan of yours, too, George.
I love you. I love your 7 words you can't say on television.
That's nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, I've updated that a little bit. Now I have 7 new words.
7 new words you can't say on television?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Jim Norton Show, everybody. How's that for a f***ing joke, you sucking mother f***?
George Carlin just called us sucker mother.
I know. It's great.
Yeah! Yeah, baby! Folks, our legal system is constantly changing, and who better to talk about laws than people who have collectively broken several dozen of them? If you could put any new law on the books, gentlemen, what would your wives say? What would it be and why? Nick DiPaolo.
My law would not allow people to wear tank tops on public transportation on days exceeding 85 degrees. Let's remember, we live in a melting pot, and when there's 50 different cheeses melting in that pot at once, it can get quite malodorous.
Great, Giraldo!
We already have too many damn laws. In New York, they've just doubled the fines for parking violations. You can't smoke any place, and they're considering a ban on cell phones in movie theaters. They're really making it hard to be an asshole in this town. I heard somebody recently say there should be a law against babies in movie theaters. Whatever happened to common sense and basic courtesy? There was a time when you wouldn't need a law. Someone would just say, hey, you ignorant crackhead, it's midnight. Take your illegitimate spawn home to bed where he belongs. Then the person would leave in shame and the rest of us could watch our gay porn in peace.
All right. Jim Norton.
Effective immediately, I'd like to make it illegal to cast hot girls like Sandra Bullock or Julia Roberts as the lead in comedy films. Neither one of these women has a witty bone in their bodies and instead relies on unfunny, cheesy little faces and goofy pratfalls. Are their legs atrophied? Every 2-minute clip has one of these bitches falling more than Christopher Reeve on a pogo stick. If Julia Roberts or Sandra Bullock wants to make me laugh, let them come to my house and tickle my balls while I'm watching a Marx Brothers movie.
Oh. All right. All right. George.
First of all, there's too many laws, and I don't even think of them as laws. I don't think of them as laws. I gotta look over here. I think of them as more like suggestions, guidelines. No one obeys a law unless they think they're going to get caught or the penalty is real bad. I do. I ignore all of them, and I'm not above the law. I'm beyond them. Good night.
But he's freestyling, baby. That's the law. That is it. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the show is over. Good night.
Hey.